We all dream of something big, a goal, a vision, a life we've imagined for ourselves. Maybe it's building a business, writing a book, transforming our health, or creating a future for our family that's better than anything we've ever known. But the truth is, dreams don't come to life overnight. They don't happen in a flash of lightning or with a single moment of motivation. They happen through something far less glamorous, far less talked about, but infinitely more powerful. Small steps taken every single day. You see, the world loves big wins, overnight success, viral moments. But what the world doesn't often celebrate is the quiet commitment of showing up when no one is watching. The slow, invisible progress that comes from choosing growth, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when it feels like nothing's changing. Because real transformation isn't dramatic, it's consistent. It's showing up over and over for your future self. It's waking up one day and realizing you've climbed a mountain, one small step at a time. Small steps might not look like much in the moment. They're easy to overlook, easy to underestimate, easy to delay. But that's what makes them so powerful, because small steps, when taken daily, become unstoppable momentum. They turn intention into action, action into habit, and habit into results. That workout you didn't want to do, that journal entry you almost skipped, that phone call you were nervous to make, every time you push through, every time you take the step, you're casting a vote for the person you're becoming. And that's the secret no one tells you. Small steps are not just about getting somewhere. They're about becoming someone. Every choice you make, every action you take is shaping your identity. You're not just building a business. You're becoming disciplined. You're not just learning a skill. You're becoming confident. You're not just working out. You're becoming someone who shows up for themselves. And that shift in identity, that's what fuels lasting change. But most people never start. Why? Because they're waiting for the perfect plan, the perfect moment, the perfect conditions. But perfection is an illusion. If you wait for it, you'll be waiting forever. What matters is that you start. Messy, unsure, unready. You take that first step even if it's small, even if it's clumsy, even if it scares you. Because action creates clarity, movement builds confidence, and momentum is what turns intentions into achievements. Don't underestimate what you can do in a year if you commit to small steps every day. Because it's not about doing everything at once. It's about doing something every day without fail. You don't need massive motivation. You don't need a grand strategy. You just need the discipline to take that next step, and then the next, and then the next. It's the daily decisions, the quiet ones that no one sees, that eventually create results that everyone notices. And yes, there will be days when you don't feel like it. Days when the step feels pointless, days when progress feels invisible. But that's when it matters most, because those are the moments that build character, resilience, strength. Success isn't built when it's easy, it's built when it's hard, when you show up anyway. That's the difference between those who succeed and those who give up. It's not talent, it's not luck. It's the decision to keep going, even when it's hard. Small steps are the foundation of every great achievement in history. Every athlete, every artist, every entrepreneur, every leader you admire, they all started with one step, and then they did it again and again. That's how greatness is built, not in giant leaps, but in relentless, repeated effort. Day after day, step after step, brick by brick. So take that step today. Don't look for shortcuts. Don't get lost in the end goal. Just focus on now. What can you do today to move 1 inch closer? What can you do today to build trust with yourself? Because when you trust yourself to follow through, when you know you'll show up, even for the small things, there's no limit to what you can accomplish. Your dreams are not out of reach. They're not too big. They're not too late. They're just waiting for you to start. And once you do, you'll realize the mountain isn't as high as it looked. The climb isn't as lonely as you feared. And the person you're becoming with every step, that person is already inside you. You just have to let them lead. So today, make a promise. A promise that you will honor your future self by showing up in the present. A promise that you won't let another day slip by in waiting. A promise that even if the step is small, you'll take it. Because those small steps, they change everything. Everyone wants results. Everyone wants success. Everyone wants the breakthrough. But very few are willing to do the same thing, the right thing, over and over again, especially when it's hard, when it's boring, or when no one is clapping. And that's where the truth lies. Because success doesn't come from explosive bursts of effort. It comes from consistency, the ability to show up again and again, long after the excitement has faded. Consistency is the bridge between your goals and your results. It's not the massive action once in a while that creates change. It's the repeated effort you commit to, even when you don't feel like it. It's the early mornings when you'd rather sleep, the extra rep when you're tired, the blog post you write when you feel uninspired. It's the little things you choose to do when no one is watching that build the kind of momentum that nothing can stop. The world is full of people who start strong, people who are excited on day one, but the world is changed by the people who stay in it on day 30, day 60, day 300. Because consistency builds character, it builds trust, it builds a foundation so strong that nothing can shake it. And in a world that's constantly distracted, constantly chasing what's new, being consistent is a superpower. You see, consistency doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean never missing a day, never making a mistake. It means you come back. It means that even when you slip, even when you fall, you don't let that become your story. You get back up and you keep moving. That's what builds strength, not the absence of failure, but the refusal to stay down. Most people are waiting for motivation, but motivation is fleeting. Discipline, backed by consistency, is what creates results. Motivation is a spark, but consistency is what builds the fire. And if you wait to feel good before you act, you'll never act often enough to build anything meaningful. But if you commit to taking action regardless of how you feel, you will build habits. You will build resilience. You will build results. Consistency rewires your brain. It reshapes your identity. Every time you show up, you're telling yourself, I'm the kind of person who follows through. And over time, that belief becomes your reality. You stop thinking like the old you. You stop making decisions based on doubt, fear, or insecurity. You start making choices based on who you're becoming. Someone who is reliable, someone who is focused, someone who finishes. The truth is, you don't need a better strategy. You don't need more talent. You need to do the work. Repeatedly, relentlessly, consistently. Even when it's not exciting, especially when it's not exciting. Because that's where the growth happens. That's where the change occurs. Not in the big moments, but in the daily decisions, the daily commitment, the boring, unsexy, quiet reps that no one sees, but everyone feels when you finally break through. And it's not just about work. Consistency touches every area of your life. Relationships thrive when you show up consistently. Your health improves when you train and eat well consistently. Your mindset transforms when you practice gratitude, presence, or prayer consistently. It's not what you do once that matters, it's what you do always. Because consistency compounds, and what starts as a small effort today becomes unstoppable force over time. Some days it'll feel like nothing is changing, like your effort isn't paying off, like no one notices. But you'll notice. You'll notice how your mindset sharpens, how your confidence builds, how your momentum grows. And soon, the world will notice too. But that's not why you do it. You do it because you respect yourself too much to quit. You do it because your dream is worth the effort. You do it because you decided who you are. Remember this, it's better to be consistently good than occasionally great, because consistency beats intensity when intensity doesn't last. The people you admire, the ones who inspire you, they didn't just work harder, they worked longer, they built habits, they kept promises. They didn't just give it their all for a week, they gave it something every day for years. That's what separates the average from the exceptional. So what are you willing to commit to daily? What small act of discipline will you choose again and again, no matter what? Because that is what's going to shape your future. The early morning, the late night, the I don't feel like it, but I'm doing it anyway. That's what makes champions. That's what builds legacies. You don't have to move mountains today. Just keep showing up. Keep moving forward. Keep trusting the process. One day you'll look back and realize every little effort, every consistent step, it was never small. It was never wasted. It was the exact thing that created your breakthrough. You didn't get lucky. You got consistent. And that made all the difference. There's a quiet force in this world. It doesn't shout. It doesn't show up overnight. It doesn't make headlines or go viral. But it's responsible for every long-term success story you've ever heard. It's the reason some people seem to get ahead while others stay stuck. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not even timing. It's the compound effect. The principle that small, smart choices, repeated consistently over time, lead to massive results. Most people underestimate it because it looks unimpressive at first. It looks like eating a salad instead of a slice of pizza, like reading 10 pages instead of watching another episode. like saving $5 instead of spending it on impulse. It looks like doing push-ups in your bedroom when nobody's watching. But what they don't see, what most people never understand, is that the compound effect isn't about the action itself. It's about the pattern, the rhythm, the relentless momentum that builds silently, day after day, until one day the world can't ignore you anymore. The compound effect works like gravity. It's always pulling, always moving. It can either pull you forward toward the life you want or backward into mediocrity and regret. Every small decision you make is a vote, a direction, an investment into your future or your failure. The question is, which way are you leaning? Think about this. If you improve by just 1% every day for a year, you don't get 365% better. You get 37 times better. That's the power of compounding. That's what happens when you show up for yourself daily, even if it feels like nothing is changing. Because change doesn't come in giant leaps. It comes in small steps, repeated with intention. It's invisible for a while, but when it hits, it's unstoppable. Success is never one big decision. It's a series of small, almost insignificant actions stacked together over time. It's not what you do once in a while, it's what you do consistently. One healthy meal doesn't change your body, but 1,000 of them will. One act of kindness doesn't build a relationship, but 1,000 small gestures create trust that lasts a lifetime. One workout won't get you fit, but a habit of training will build a body you're proud of. But here's the challenge. The results aren't immediate. And because they aren't immediate, most people quit. They think their actions don't matter. They stop showing up because they're not seeing instant gratification. But the compound effect doesn't reward the impatient. It rewards the disciplined, the faithful, the ones who understand that real results are earned in silence long before they're seen by the world. That's why consistency matters more than intensity. Anyone can go hard for a day. Anyone can be motivated for a week. But the ones who win, they're the ones who build habits, who stick to the process, who keep planting seeds, even when the soil looks barren. Because they know the harvest always comes. It always comes. But only for those who didn't give up during the waiting season. And here's the best part. The compound effect doesn't require you to be extraordinary. You don't need genius. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need commitment. The commitment to show up every day, to do the little things right, and to stay on course even when progress feels slow. Over time, those little things become big things. And eventually, the results become undeniable. You start feeling different, thinking different, acting different. You start trusting yourself. You start making decisions from a place of strength instead of fear. And before you know it, the life you once dreamed about isn't a dream anymore. It's your reality. Not because you got lucky, but because you compounded effort over time. You don't need a radical life change. You need small, smart actions, repeated, daily, with focus, with faith. You need to ask yourself, what are the small things I can do today that will serve my future self? What can I do today, even if it's uncomfortable, that my future will thank me for? So stop chasing quick fixes. Stop waiting for the big break. Stop thinking you need to do something massive to make a difference. Start focusing on the small, the daily, the consistent. Choose to master the basics. Choose to be patient with the process. Choose to trust the math of effort, time, and intention. Because eventually, the compound effect will show up for you. It will reward you in ways you can't yet imagine. It will multiply your skills, your confidence, your opportunities, your life. And when that happens, it won't be luck, it won't be fate. It will be you showing up day after day for what matters. So today, choose the long game. Choose the steady pace. Choose the small win. Because small wins, repeated consistently, create massive victories. That's the secret. That's the strategy. That's the compound effect. And it works every single time.